Hi, I'm Todd Trueluck, and welcome to my knife making shop. This is my handle project. Most of the parts anyway. I don't have them all, but you can see that I'm going to take some blades that I purchased. And these are kitchen knives, stainless steel, and the handles that go with them. This is also some G10. So these are Dymalux, and this is G10. I like Dymalux and G10 for working on kitchen knives because they aren't real wood and they make great kitchen knives. I will take some videos as I move through and give some basic tips on how I do, an entry level sort of start to knife making, just installing handles on a purchased blade. So back to handle making here. I wanted to show like the phases of how to shape the handles. So when you order a blade, you're going to get, this is a medium chef knife, and you can order, for me I ordered black and blue G10. So what I do is I take the two handles and I take some 3M tape, which is easy to get on and off, and I put it in the middle and I glue them together like so. This one's glued together. Once I have them glued together, I take the knife, so I'm just showing you the different phases, set the knife on top of the block, take a black marker and mark the shape. Then you can take a saw, a hand saw, or a bandsaw, or whatever you have, and you cut that shape. And so what I have now is a set of handles that are approximately the size of the knife. Next thing you do is attach the knife to the handles and drill your holes for your pins. I'll show that when I get done. The important thing to note when you're doing it with a hand drill is it is imperative that you drill a straight up and down perpendicular hole. Otherwise the pins don't match. And ask me how I know this, since I have ruined a few handles doing it. Made a lot of progress here in the shop today on my chef knives. I have materials lined out for 4 of them. I have a large chef knife with my Dymalux, and this is a 5/16 hole for the back. The pins are 5/16 in the back and 1/8 in the middle, and then the middle knife is 8 inches and it's got 1/8 inch pins all the way through. The small paring knife is also 1/8 inch all the way through. So these small, medium, large, those 3 are going to be matching for a set. And then this black and blue G10 I'm making for a friend. It's got 7/32 pins and they're going to be stainless, and then a 1/8 in the middle. And these 2 knives here I'm waiting on materials for, and I have another set of small, medium, and large that I'm getting ready to put together. These 2 are for my wife. And then I have these that I've finished. This is a big Bowie made out of American red oak stainless. It's 13.5, I think. One I finished up not too long ago. I've got to make sheaths for all of these. This is a Dymalux as well, and I enjoy doing this. These are some of the first knives that I ever made. I did not make the steel on these. I did handles, which is part of the project I'm showing you here. Is just how to put handles on a knife in a fairly simple way. So more to come. I've got tomorrow to round the fronts and shape the fronts. You want to do that before you epoxy them to the handles, because to the blade, because it's really hard to shape the front of the handle and not damage the blade once you've got it installed. So that's my guidance for that. Someone told me that, and it's been very helpful. Another little tip I wanted to talk to you about is drill bit size. So you can see I have a number 8, a 1/8, a number 30, and so the trick is that a 1/8 inch drill bit the number 30 is just a little bit, a few thousandths oversized. So what you do is you use this number 30 bit to drill the holes for the 1/8 inch pins, and what that does is that lets the pin go in really easily. It's not loose, it's very snug, but you don't have to drive it with a hammer very much at all. And so that gives a little bit of room for epoxy. It lets it drive in good. You don't split natural woods. That just a little bit oversized is really helpful. And then the 3/16, the number 12 is slightly oversized for it. And then the quarter, the F, as in Frank, the F bit is slightly bigger. And you can see I have a 1/4 inch brad. And this is a handy little way to store your drill bits so you don't lose them. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. It's hot in Florida, and I'm going to wrap it up. I've been fairly busy today. I've enjoyed it, but I am ready for a break. Continued handle project. So I have cut the pins, shaped them, rounded the edges. You use an angle grinder usually to cut them. You might be able to see that the angle grinder, I can make a nice smooth round end so it doesn't have burrs and make it difficult to drive. I have drilled the holes, as you can see, I think, in the handles. I've also shaped the handles to get them pre-shaped around where they meet the front, the blade, so you don't damage the blade when you're working. These three are going to be, a match set right here, so they don't have to be perfect because you can still round back here, but you want to be about where you want them up front so you don't damage the blade when you're sanding or whatnot, even if you're using hand tools, which is how I did it for quite a while. And then this one, I thought I'd make a nice pointy. It also brings out the color of the G10 really nice, so I'll fade that back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm thinking about keeping it kind of tall and then having a cut a little deeper down in here so I can bring out some of those colors. I don't know. We'll see how it feels, I guess, when I'm doing it. Stainless pins, brass pins, everything is cut. Now we're ready to go to the glue stage. So I'm planning on doing that now. And here we have our handle project with our 4 knives, and handles are installed. You can see that the pins are in. The front has got a general shape to it, and now I'll start working the pins down and really start working on getting to the final shape. They're epoxied up, they set overnight, and they're looking good. Our handle project is moving right along. I have sanded them down and got general shape with 60 grit and worked my way up to 150. I've got them pretty well shaped like I want. They're turning out pretty good. I haven't got smooth lines or anything yet, of course. You can see there's some irregularities and such to it, but it's got a nice little shape. That one's kind of a nice thin handle. On these, these are 3/8 thick, so they're made pretty big handles, which is fine on the big chef knife. And I sort of decided that I would go with a thick one on the little guy too, to kind of get the same general shape. I got a little bit of work to do on the lines, but they turned out nice so far. I think that they will be really nice when I get them finished. So I'm going to move up to 400 grit and then I'll hand sand from there. Now we are sanded up to 400 grit and they're coming out pretty good. It's really hard with a machine to get everything consistent. You'll see how I'm still a little straight across here where these are more rounded. But they're pretty close and I'm happy with it. Now you hand sand. I have found there's no way you're going to get around having a hand sanding. It's just too much with a mechanical sander. It takes off too much. It's too difficult for me. So they are very close now. I will sand them down starting with probably 200. I'll work my way up to 1,000, and then I will polish them up, and it won't be long now before they're finished. So I'll show you what they look like when I'm done hand sanding, and then polished up is all that's left. I'm set up this morning to do my hand sanding on my 4 knife handles, and I wanted you to see how simple this setup is. It's a card table with a 2x10, a card table chair, and some sandpaper. Some C-clamps, clamp them down, sand them out. Won't take me very long at all till I'll have these ready for a final buffing on the with compound on the bench grinder. All right, coming back to my knife project. I've been busy all morning. I've got probably 3 hours so far into this. I have hand sanded them all down with basically 120, 180, 220, 320, and 400 to get them down. And then 2 of these I have put on my bench grinder and buffed out with the red rouge, red compound. So I don't know if you can see it. Those 2 are sanded. These 2 are buffed, and they are super smooth. They're super smooth. I will probably put some beeswax on those and be done with them. We'll see. You can see that it really buffs out smooth. You can see there's a little bit of shine to it. It's like a eggshell or whatever. It's not flat, but it's definitely a matte finish, I guess is the right way. This is the G10. These are Dymalux, excuse me. And these are G10s. You can see they are just super smooth. I mean, you don't feel anything. Nice and pretty. That buffing compound is good. The 400s are good, but and you can go up to 1,000, which I do pretty commonly. I decided to try 400 and then the buffing compound on these, and it really works out good. So I'm going to go on and buff out these 2, and then I'm going to take the tape off the blades and clean everything up a little bit. And I may beeswax them. I'm going to get a good finish on them, and then I'll show you the finished product. Thanks. So we're finished up with our knife project, and it's a muggy, rainy day here in North Florida, so you can hear the rain on the tin roof. It's kind of relaxing to be outside doing that. The 3 Damascus that are sort of redwoods and silver or gray, I guess, really turned out well. I'm real happy with those. They polished up to, sanded up to 400, and then I put them on the buffing machine, and then I did some beeswax polish on them, and that's all I've done to those. They turned out really nice. They're a very pretty matching set. This G10 I think turned out really well. I did do true oil on it. It's kind of a gun stock finish. It really makes a nice shiny finish, but it does have a tendency to get some fine dust in it that shows up that I don't love. I have not been able to figure out how to keep that from happening, but they turned out really, really good. I'm very happy with them. So now let's talk about tools a little bit. Everybody seems to think you need all kinds of tools to be able to do a knife project. We've picked the simplest way to do knives, where you purchase a blade from a reputable person. There's a ton of opportunity to do that on Etsy, where you can get homemade blades from other folks, and then you can buy the handle materials just like we did in the video, and your job is to do the woodwork around installing the handles. So I spent the last several months deployed out of town, working out of a rental property, a condo, and working on my porch. And all I had to work with was Harbor Freight angle grinder. 20 bucks, I think, maybe 18 bucks. Very inexpensive. I bought some sandpaper that goes on the angle grinder. I have a little small hand saw that I bought. I bought some files. I got a wood rasp, metal file, very inexpensive tools, a few C-clamps, sandpaper, And it's very simple to do what I've done in this video with those tools. Now, I am now home and I've started my own little shop, and I'm going to put a video of that up. I'll try to put a link in the description below to that for my knife making shop here. But it's not difficult and it's not complicated, and it doesn't take that much to get yourself started in knife making if it's something that you want to do. If you have questions, you can post them below. I'll be happy to answer them. Maybe I'll put together a little tool list, but it's very, very simple. It takes time. I spent probably 8 hours a knife to be able to get them done because I was working with pretty much all hand tools. The only thing I used the angle grinder for, I mounted it to a table with some cord and fiber tape, and I was able to use that, hold the knife, and carefully grind away and rough cut the knife, so that was faster. And then I would move off to my hand rasp and then sandpaper, and just move on from there. Thank you so much for watching the video. I do hope that you enjoyed it and maybe even took something away. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to leave a comment below, I'll do my best to address them. Thank you so much for joining me in my knife making shop.